Hello, welcome to today's newspaper review. All right, what are you doing? Just the weekend. The weekend is upon us. Just to the weekend, and welcome to today's newspaper review. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my Nigeria Watch family across the globe. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining me this beautiful day for our broadcast. Please do want to click on the link. The link has been posted. If you'd like to join the conversation, do also click on the link and you'll be right here with me. If you're just joining in, welcome. Please take our time to do the needful by liking the broadcast, sharing, and inviting someone on to the broadcast. If you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please take our time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Welcome to this broadcast. Thank you very much. Thank you. Osagbovo, how are you doing? Hi, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Thank you for being on the broadcast. Mommy Diaspora, thank you for being on the broadcast. Thank you to my amazing panelists. Please, before you click on the link, take our time to like the broadcast and also take our time to support us by clicking on the dollar sign to the right on the comment section. Thank you very much and welcome to the broadcast. I hope your day is going just fine. All right, thank you for being here. We'll move straight to the business of the day. Our first paper is The Punch. 10.7 trillion naira budget deficit. Government may sell TBS, Tafa Balewa Square, NIPP's 25 key assets. No bidders yet. We have register of assets. That's from BPE. Federal government eyeing NNPC. Value estimated at over 30 trillion naira. Government must be transparent in sale process, says expert. Okay, so just before I continue reading this, I need you to understand this news as so we are 10.7 trillion naira short of the budget. And yesterday in the news, I think the Punch, one of those, one of the newspapers, actually talked about domestic, the government to be through domestic. I can't remember how it is put, but they were going to get funds, domestically too. I think that's how it's stated. I can't remember, but that was not clear. We've been wondering, so how will this money be made? Are we expected to be taxed? Are we expected to be overly taxed? What should we? How do they intend to get the money? And now we have an idea, as government are looking to sell some assets, the country's the national assets. Okay, let's go on with the news. We'll come back to that. We've lost our most valued crude oil buyers. That's from federal government. Amcom sells Polaris Bank for 50 billion naira. National carrier, domestic airlines reject Nigeria Ethiopia deal. Kanu, a flight risk. Federal government tells Supreme Court. NSAS, youth demand justice. Police tear gas protesters. Inflation, Nigeria, others risk political instability, says IMF. 13 dead in Ogun, Lagos crashes. FRSC blames night travel. Kogi gets first derivation allocation as oil producing state. All right. The first, let's okay. Yeah. So kudos. Kogi. The governor came out yesterday to share that Kogi have gotten their first derivation as a oil producing state, and well, I think that money is coming in at a good time. Kogi is one of those states that is heavily affected by the flood. So I think all of the states now they need all the money that they can get. But then again, there is a question of what happens to the 1 trillion naira security votes. Yes, security allowance that is being given to the governors. I mean, we've not had natural disaster. We've not had all of these things in what in a while. So these questions nobody is asking. I don't know why the governors are not. They are coming out to ask for help. Meanwhile, there are allowances, there are budgets for things like this, ecological budgets. But now that states actually needs these funds, we should see them being used, yes, and not to cramp people in spaces that is prone to mosquitoes, and there are bad waters, and they don't even have basic things. This is like the first time that they will be needing to use. So I think the state should be able to. It's about time we begin to ask our governors these questions. And the crash in Ogun State. These two vehicles ran into this tanker carrying fuel, and it just went into flames. And a whole bus went into flames, and all the people inside died. Oh dear. So that was what happened. That was what happened. Oh dear. That was on Lagos Ibadan Express Road. Yes, that happened on Lagos Ibadan Express Road. And that's talking about the 13 people. Let's see what other story. Yes, so the federal government, let me see if I have that story to share it with you as amid Nigeria's fiscal crisis, the federal government is compiling the list of assets that will be either sold or concessioned to fund the 2023 budget deficit of 10.7 trillion naira. Before I continue, I mean, in this, but should reducing the cost of governance not be one of the top options on this? We are going to begin to sell assets, and this is just to fund the 2023 budget. We still have the debt servicing, and oh dear. Sources at the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning told the Punch that the government was considering selling or concessioning of the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos, as well as the National Integrated Power Project in Olorushogo, Calabar 2, and Benin, located at Ihobo and Omotosho 2 and Gerigo plants. The government is also planning to sell or concession all the hydropower plants across the country, including Oyo, Lower Usama, Katsina Ala, and Giri plants. More than 25 of such projects will be turned into active assets that will be generating money in some ways to the federal government. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to catch your reaction. I need to catch your reaction the comment section. Okay, Justin Emmanuel says NNPC is already private. By May 2023, NNPC will go public, which means anybody can buy and own shares. Federal government will get 100% back of its shares in NNPC. That can pay 80% of our debt. Okay, that's a good analysis. And Justin goes on to say, selling assets is a great idea to raise money to fund whatever liabilities the government may have. All right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. If you're just joining in, welcome to our newspaper review. Please do also like this broadcast, share, and invite someone onto the broadcast. Also, if you'd like to join the conversation, the link has been posted up there. Kindly click on the link and you will be right here with me. Thank you very much. If you're here to turn on your notification, please do so. And also do well to support us by clicking on the dollar sign to the right on the comment section. Thank you. Sit back and we would continue with the news. Okay, let's see what other news we have there that we are here today. Good morning, Michael Okere. Welcome to the broadcast. Good morning, Mr. Charles. Welcome to the broadcast. I guess we've lost our most valued crude oil buyers, federal government coming out, crying out, and they say the most valued customers, they're buying from some other people now, and a large percent of them are considering a large number of them. It's just a minute, please. I'm trying to get to that news. A large number of them are looking at using renewable energy as yes, they are looking forward to using their renewable energy. So we see that they're moving away from this, and while we are still holding on to this, like this is all we got, like this is all that we've got. The world has the world is fast moving on. I hope we are able to pick up as a country. All right, Mr. Charles, how are you doing? Welcome to the broadcast.
I'm fine, Mrs. Emma. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. All right.
So what are we?
No, I'll
Okay.
come back to you. I just wanted to say hello. Now, we're talking about Kanu. The federal government has filed 7 grounds of appeal against the October 13 Court of Appeal judgment, which discharged the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Mr. Charles, please kindly put your mic on mute. It asks the Supreme Court to set aside the judgment and restore the charge against the respondents to the tried at the trial court. The government, in a motion on notice in support of the appeal, is also seeking a stay of execution of the judgment of the court presided over by Justice Jumia Sankey, pending the hearing and final determination of its appeal, noting that the IPOB leader posed a flight risk. The notice of appeal dated October 18 was signed by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, Assistant Chief State Counsel Dr. D. Kaswe and A. Aluko, and Senior State Counsel G. Nweze, Department of Public Prosecution, Federal Ministry of Justice. It looks like we've not seen the last with the federal government on the Nnamdi Kanu case. We'll move to the next story. Our next paper is going to be Daily Trust. Daily Trust, we have customs sacks over 2,000 officers for corruption. That's from Ahmed. Ali expresses concern over meeting 3 trillion naira target to raise $176 billion after total automation of operations. Justifies tax increase on vehicles. Federal government appeals judgment acquitting Kanu. Strategic Capital Investment acquires Polaris Bank for 1.35 trillion naira. UK to elect new Prime Minister October 28 as Truss resigns. Corruption high under Buni Committee. That's for Madam. Federal government to privatize Ajaokuta Steel. 10 burnt to death as tanker explodes on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Siemens transformers will boost power supply from November, and that's from Buhari. All right. We've taken most of the story here. The customs. While this news has met lots of jubilation from Nigerians who are saying that 2,000 officers being sacked from customs is not enough. It's not enough to deal with the corruption there, because a whole much more than this number needs to be swept away if they are ready to truly deal with corruption amongst the custom officers and their practices too. Surprisingly, well, I shouldn't be saying surprisingly. I mean, we all know how the figures changes when it comes to customs. All right, and then federal government has taken the case to appeal, and they're saying he's at flight risk, so they want him to be detained there. Let's see what his lawyers are up to this. Let's see how this case is going to unfold even more. All right, we're moving to another story real quick, and that's Daily Sun. On Daily Sun, we have APC, Buni left 7.5 billion naira legal debts, bloated staff, Adamu. Constitution review, House of Assembly speakers fights back, accuse Omo Agege of blackmail, misleading Nigerians. Pressure mounts on federal government as senators join in call for Kanu's release. Lagos-Ibadan Expressway tanker crash claims 10 lives. Kogi gets first derivation allocation as oil producing state. Peter Obi suspends campaign, visits Benue victims, IDPs. Flood, US commits $1 million in emergency humanitarian aid to Nigeria. Alaba market clash. Police confirm 1 dead, arrest 5. Army begins exercise still water to curb insecurity, terrorism, and cultism. EndSARS memorial. We didn't fire live bullets to disperse protesters and that by the police. Demonstrators demand end to police brutality. We'll be taking the story on the police brutality. So yesterday, news came out of Punch had an interview with 1 or 2 persons. They came out saying many people were injured yesterday when the police fired tear gas canisters at people who converged to commemorate the second anniversary of EndSARS protests. Outside the tear gas canisters, popularly known as smoke, the police were also accused of firing gunshots to disperse the mammoth crowd that converged at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos. So some people came out to to say that about 50 people were injured from because they said that the confusion or the fracas, the chaos that the tear gas brought injured a lot of people, and that they fired there were gunshots. According to this report, there were gunshots, and that some people sustained injury from that. But in reaction, Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer SP Benjamin said nobody was injured and no gunshot was fired by the police. But a victim, Iwe Akasi, told Daily Sun that the youths were at the toll gate to mourn those who were killed, maimed, or detained by the police during the EndSARS protest 2 years ago, and to remind the government that it has not fulfilled its promises. An activist said over 50 people have been injured. They were scampering for safety after the police fired tear gas canisters on us. They also fired gunshots into the air. I am not saying that they shot the guns at us, but we were injured by the tear gas. Well, the police has come out to say, well, no such thing happened because they didn't, as much as use fire gunshot. And they've come out to say why they did so was because it was going so well. Initially, it was supposed to just be a drive-through, but they proceeded to, converge in little numbers, and they were in numbers, but they still allowed it because it was not a problem. But they figured that it was getting out of hand when they saw some youths carrying coffins, and they were mounting the toll gate complex. They were mounting some of the structures there, hanging the coffin, and so the police thought that would be a good time to restore normalcy to the protest or disperse if those were talked. But they say that that's the reason for them doing that. Okay, so that's about that story. Army in Calabar, they've started this Stillwater, the commander, 13th Brigade, Nigerian Army, Calabar, General Everest Okoro, during the event yesterday, said the exercise was meant to curb kidnapping, militancy, armed robbery, cultism, among others. Okoro said troops would plan and conduct operations in both land and riverine environments that were volatile, unpredictable, chaotic, and ambiguous in real time. He said real-time operations will be used to counter security threats in the state, ranging from kidnapping, armed banditry, arms smuggling, proliferation, militancy to cultism. Okay, well, Calabar, the beautiful city of Calabar, has they've not been making so much of the news, for this kind of operation to be happening there. Or probably they have their own secured media that don't let things go about. I think there are other states who have gunmen on rampage, at large, that should have this operation, being carried out right now. These are things that police should be able to do. So I just feel like the thought should be pointed where it really needs, the military and their dances, and there are several dances. All right. Johnson, let's take this comment. Johnson says the Nigerian customs should implement the e-transaction already in place. That will block every form of possible corruption or looting. I'm sure this is an option that is known. It says sacking 2,000 custom officers or any other number will not solve corruption problem. We need to prevent every form of corruption by changing the mode of operation through technology. All right. Um, Michael Okere says, how could Malami do that when he's incapable of obeying the Court of Appeal order? Okay, just Emmanuel, thank you. All right, thank you. Ehosa Francis, good morning to you too, and welcome to the broadcast. All right, Mr. Charles.
Hello.
Mr. Charles,
Can you
yes,
can you hear me?
loud and clear, sir.
Yeah. Honestly, Nigeria with all their stories. Honestly, each time you hear what happens to Nigeria, what happens in Nigeria, and you find out this can never happen to in anywhere in the world, and the citizens are keeping quiet. Sometimes you decided not to talk. I was watching a clip of what was happening in France. I think that was 2 or 3 days ago. They were protesting. Why? Because of increase, because of inflation. They were protesting. I was like, wow, wow, wow. Just that there's increase in the commodities. People are protesting in Nigeria. More than this do happen. And the Nigerians, we are used to it because some of us can afford it. So who cares? Especially, we are living in an environment where many want to show their big manism. Many want to show their big manism that they are, oh, they can afford it. Oh, they can afford generator. They can afford this. That's why all these things are happening. But that's not what I want to talk about. Concerning Malami, I don't blame him. Like I always said, Kano, Nnamdi Kano, they can do whatever they want to do with him. After all, in Abia State, concerning the bailout, the jumping of bail or not, a court in Abia State, a federal high court in Abia State have pass a ruling concerning that Nnamdi did not jump any bail. Do they obey it? No. Is a federal high court in Abia State? Is it not a court? No. Still, they are still contesting this on the same case at Federal High Court, Abuja. The same court of the same jurisdiction have passed a judgment on it. No one, because they are in government, they determine what happens. The magistrate, the court, they control everything. I think before now, a court has also made a ruling concern that Nnamdi is not a terrorist. They didn't take it. United Nations have asked them to release him. Is it a business? Today, the whole Nigeria have seen that even the appeal court have passed a judgment on that. Now they are going to Supreme Court. I don't know what they want to achieve on this because he's an Igbo man. That's how I see it. We are supposed to be killed. No one, we have nobody who can speak for us. That's why all these our politicians are sellout. They want to remain relevant. That's why none of them can talk. When evil are going on in our land, our youth are being massacred by the security agents every day. Every day. They are being killed every day, every day. We're not talking about those that are fled herdsmen have killed. No one is talking about state. They are protecting them. So, what do you expect Malami and his brother Buhari and all the DSS, whosoever that is in charge of that department, is still a full animal? What do you expect them to do when your people have sell you out? When your people are willing to take a senator in exchange of your life? When your people are willing to be a governor in exchange of your life? When your people are willing to be a minister in exchange of your life, to get a contract or give their children job in exchange, what do you expect from them? They can do whatever they like within Nnamdi Kanu, who is nobody. So it's so painful to see all this happening, but we are helpless. We are helpless in Nigeria. So that's what I want to say now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you for that submission. But Okay, but let's see how this unfolds. Talking about the Nnamdi Kanu, I believe that he has good lawyers, and his lawyers, are on it. The news reads that the federal government has asked the court to resurrect or to restore the seven grounds if that was filed against them before. They've asked that should be restored. Let's see if his lawyers will be able to. But this is actually something that everybody should actually be talking about, because if the federal government wants to be bigger than the law, oh dear. But let's see how this goes. Mr. Chooks, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good morning, Emma.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I just joined in. I don't know what you're discussing, So if you don't mind letting me know what you're discussing.
Okay, so we have the 10.7 trillion naira budget deficit, right? Uh, so the federal government, they are looking at selling some national assets, or commission or concessing some national assets to be able to raise the money for the budget deficit. I think there's no other place to borrow from. So we are looking at selling national assets like the TBS, some NIPPs, and other 25 key assets. No bidders yet, but this is how they intend to raise the money, the 10.7 trillion naira budget deficit. What's your reaction to that?
Well, this is laughable. Um, I'm sure Atiku is not yet the president, and they will start selling. So, what is he gonna sell when he comes around? Ima, if we sell all these things now, what will be left for him to sell? Because this is his hope of uh, 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 coming in as a president. He said he made it himself. He made it clear that I will sell it to my friends and families. So if we just sell them off now, are we afraid of him coming to sell it to his families? Well, you see, the problem is not selling all those things. Okay. In most cases, you see that if Nigeria spent $1 billion to build something, $1 billion to build something. When they want to sell it to their friends and family, they sell it 200 million. If I thought it's gonna be up to 200 million. Okay. The budget deficit. They will have to come and tell us what and what is this salary deficit they're having, because other than salary deficit, I don't see anywhere they are talking about salary. About deficit. Look at what is happening with the flood. How much did the federal government give to the flood victims, or this or that? So I don't know what they're talking about. Let them continue to manage us. Let them leave our properties. Okay? You see, I know it will be hard for all of us, most Nigerians, because many people, or most people, think because you live abroad, it doesn't concern you. You see, people who have people abroad, right? They don't feel like they live in Nigeria, because we are having all those suffering on our shoulder, all those things on our shoulder. They're sick, they call you. They're hungry, they call you. Whatever it is, 9 out of 10. So the fact is, if we Nigerians can endure, let them stop selling. Because whether they sell, you see, if I'm saying this, some people will think, oh, because you're not here, that's why you're saying like this. But the truth of the matter is this: whether they said that or they didn't sell it, the situation never changes for an ordinary man. We keep hearing this on television. We keep hearing this on radio. Oh, this problem comes. Oh, we are doing this to solve it. Does anything change in the market? No. Does anything change around you? No. So if all these things are still happening, and we're talking about selling, I don't think selling is the issue. And borrowing. I saw some comment here, people saying US and America is borrowing and this and that. Is your currency like US and America? I mean, and the Britain. Well, people just come, they talk nonsense. Though it's their opinion, but I consider it to be nonsense, because if you research well, you will know. You don't just compare countries. You compare countries with what they can do. The facilities or amenities available to them. You don't compare yourself. It's just like today, you're talking with somebody because you had there's an accident, fatal accident in America, and they killed 16 to 20 people at a time. You say, after all, accident is happening in America. Yes, accident is happening. Is it that takes 16 people to die? If it is in Nigeria, it's hundreds of lives it will cost. So we're not the same. How much is our money? You don't know. The more you borrow, the more your money gets useless. What is the person saying? You know, all of us are becoming anyway. This is the problem with Nigeria is it's just like a family. The way the fathers and mothers behave, that is the way the children most times will behave. So for we to just get up and compare apple and orange, because this is what our politicians have been doing to us. When you talk to them, when you raise a good point, the next thing they will tell you is in America, in Britain, hey, in America and Britain, okay, look at the British Prime Minister. She resigned. How many days? Less than 2 months. Okay? We've been bearing this brunt since 7.5 years. Does it concern him? No. Why don't he resign? This is because the people said, hey, we're not comfortable with you. These things you are doing, we will pay you when the election comes around. Straight away, the party members had to pressure her to get down. And this is what we're saying about Tinubu saying, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Why don't you pressure him that time? This is how it works. The prime minister just resigned because all his cabinet and his MPs, which is equivalent to our senators, they know that if this continues the way it is, none of them is coming back. None. So they have to pressure the prime minister to go. So if people are comparing us with America, I'm saying to that person who made this, he can write again. If you're comparing our debt and the American debt, then compare our style of government to America or British. Because if it is in Britain, Buhari would have resigned long ago and left the office. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Mr. Chuta. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to each and every one of you. Johnson Emmanuel, hi to Niger. Hello, welcome to the broadcast. Michael Okere, welcome to the broadcast. I see each and every one of you. I want to read out something for you regarding the flood. I talked about it earlier, but let's run this briefly. The presidency yesterday challenged states to give an account of how they spent amounts in excess of 1 trillion naira allocated to them from the ecological fund to tackle floods and other ecological problems. This came as the federal government said yesterday that the release of water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon was not responsible for the large-scale flooding in Nigeria. Several states, including Benue and Kogi in the north-central, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Delta in the south-south, have cried out for help from the federal government as they battle to provide succor for victims of floods forced out of their homes and left without shelter, food, and potable water. Go on to read that roughly 1 trillion naira, representing 2.2% of the total budget for 2018, 2019, and 2023 was budgeted for ecological and disaster management. In 2018, 2.2% of the estimation of 9.1 trillion budget amounting to 198 billion naira was set aside for the ecological fund. Now, this is in So that is to say, that's a breakdown to say in 2018, in 2019. Okay, so none was recorded to have been given in 2020, 2022. So so far the question is, what have the governors, what are they doing, what have they been doing with the ecological funds? Because I'm not sure we've come to this place where we have to deal with nature. So what all of these funds are now, these are the same people that are crying out for help, asking for, and the federal government, and you know how we call out the federal government, that they are not, what are they doing, what are they, the federal government, they've been proactive on this one. So now it's the first. What have the governors been doing with the state ecological funds that has been given to them? Mr. Chooks, you talked about the federal government not stepping in on the flood issue. I just had to bring that up to, to intimate us. Madam Joy, good day to you. It's good to have you on the broadcast. Welcome. All right. I think we'll move on to some other person. Mr. Chubuzo, how are you doing?
Yeah. Uh, Good morning, Emma.
Morning to you, sir.
How are you? Right.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Good day, everybody listening, and good day, the panelists. Regardless, the regard of the fund the federal government allocate to the states, um, you see, because of the kind of emergency that we have now, that's why we start hearing all these numbers. Definitely, their sins have been forgiven, according to the president. Those money they give to the states, they eat it because they know that such thing is rare to come to their way. Instead of them to use that money to program it in other section, but those governors, just because there is emergency now, we start hearing all this type of money they are allocating to the governors. So there is nothing the president can do. He can only shout, but there is no action. He can do nothing because this is his own people. You cannot prosecute them. In a reality, what you do, you set up a inquiry, and if they don't give you any accountability, then you get them arrested. This is a public fund we are talking about here. We are not talking about personal money. This is public fund. And I believe that any person that in the office that eat public fund should be arrested and prosecuted immediately. But in Nigeria is where we celebrate them. When they commit such crime, we celebrate them. So it's shame that Nigerian government now start coming out and said uh, they give so amount of money for such an incident. But well, and in reality, federal government still need to intervene. Even though they give that money, they still need to intervene because this is not a only one state. This is a kind of this thing is affecting almost the federal. So the federal government need to intervene, do what they can do. This is not time of asking questions. You can ask that question, but to this moment, people they are not ready to take that question. They need to get safe first before you start asking questions. In Anambra State, I see what is happening in Anambra, where people, the whole family, just died because of the flood. The whole family completely wiped out. So this is not a new thing for us. For the access of the government to sell our assets, somebody has been advocating for it a long time that Nigeria is for sale, and now we have seen it that we are selling Nigeria for good. You are making a budget. Okay, if you sell our assets this year and make your provision good, then next year, what are you going to sell? Is it not the people inside there you going to sell? You are going to sell all of us, then for you to complete your budget. So I don't subscribe to that. Nigeria, we mustn't support the government to sell any asset because what they are going to do is to what Atuku is trying to do to sell all the whole national assets to their own family. And when you sell our national assets, what are we boasting for? What do we have again? We don't have nothing anymore. Why should you sell a national asset? If you cannot manage it, you get out from the office. Let somebody who know how to manage it come and rescue Nigeria. This is becoming too much. Nigerians must wake up. They must wake up. We mustn't sit down and listen to this fair government and whatever they say, we buy it and go on with it. So that's all I can say now. Thank you.
Oh dear. All right. Thank you very much for that. Lady Joy, are you? Hello, Madam Joy. Okay. Madam Joy, I guess I'll call on you again later on. All right. Let's move on to Mr. Vine. Hi, Mr. Vine. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sister Ma. I'm doing great, and I am coming from the shining part of Ghana, Bolgatanga, in Upper East region of Ghana. Good morning to my co-panelists, and good morning to our listeners all over the world and those in the comment section. This is a very serious issue. This talking point is very, very serious. You see, you cannot give what you don't have. I am addressing the federal government. If Oga the chop for top, waiting the people where they the bottom go do. How can you prosecute those that are at the bottom that have seen how you are mismanaging and eating full of corruption, feeding fat on the sweat of Nigerians? Do you have the moral standard now to investigate and bring those at the bottom to book? You cannot do it. They can only talk. If the federal government is really, really serious, if their hands are also clean, system and the Nigerians, they will have the authority to prosecute those governors that have collected those ecological funds set to prevent, in fact, to prevent, let's just say, if not in totality, at least to minimize the impact of natural disasters in their various states. Prosecute them if you are also not culpable. Coming out here to begin to tell Nigerians, oh, we gave them so amount of money. Why are you there? If your child misbehaves, what do? You punish the child. You punish the child. I'm not here to come and throw your hands in the air and to tell Nigerians lament, just like the way we are lamenting on every platform in social media. That is no excuse for me. If you have given them money to support these natural disasters before it happened, you must prosecute them, unless you too, you are not doing something right. As for the selling of
for the past 10 years, they've been giving these funds for the past 10 years. So it's not even a
system,
function of 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. For over 10 years, they're calling them now, come and account. You should be drawing up the money. You should have much more than enough. That's why the federal government are not saying it, because they're expecting the states to act. They've been giving the resources.
They have. Where are the checks and balances? If you give out money for the people of Nigeria to at least protect them and save them from most of these troubles, must you just give out the money and stay away? If this is happening, this is that happened this time, like this flooding system, who are we addressing? Is it not the government? Is it not the government that we are addressing? And because they are feeling the fire up there, the heat up there, they are now telling Nigerians that, oh, your state governments have been giving so amount of money to take care of some of these things. So have you questioned them why they did not use those money? Systema, another problem is this. Are you sure that the money has been given to them? Is it not the same case with the NDDC projects and so on and so forth? Did you see what they said when that committee was set up, that investigative panel was set up to find out how the NDDC money was utilized? The same thing now, the bulk of it now went back to them over there in Abuja. So who are you going to blame? They are just trying to bully me. In my own opinion, they are trying to bully the governors. Probably the money has not been sent to them the way it should be sent to them. And maybe, I don't just know, but let them investigate. If they are also diligent in their own, policies and so on and so forth, let them come out and let's see. Let them throw everything in the space so that Nigerians will verify and peruse them and find out who is actually, dealing, with who. As for selling of national assets, Nigerians must look into what is happening to us in Ghana here. Please, please, do not allow your government to sell your national assets. Please. Ghana has succeeded in selling theirs. And most of this, like the Ghana Telecom before, Ghana Telecom was vibrant, very, very successful, making profits for the government. Today, after selling it, we cannot make anything. We only have 20% share in that Ghana Telecom now, presently called Vodafone. 20%. Patre, 20%, my people. If you want to know whether selling of your national assets is good, look at NEPA, NITEL, and the other ones. Are they the purpose for which they were privatized and sold? Is it what they are giving you today in Nigeria? These people intentionally run these things down. They run them down in order to give excuses to sell it to their cohorts. The NEPA, look at what is happening. The NEPA is a clear example of have they given you 24-hour electricity 247? They've not. Rather, they give you pay for what you don't consume. So I will just tell you people, take a cue from what is happening to us in Ghana right now. You see where our city is. That figure, that two figures they are giving you there is after redenomination. That is the figure they give you. Redenomination is supposed to, $1 today in Ghana right now as we speak is 14.5. If you convert it to old currency, it's 140,000. 140,000. The redenomination brought it into 2-digit, numbers, which is 14. That is how the value is still the same. It is not better. A liter of petrol in Ghana today is 130,000. If you convert it into naira, it should be about 900 to 1,000 naira per liter. Like I said the other day, the only thing we benefit in this country right now as we speak is the security that we enjoy, the electricity 247 that we enjoy, and the water that we enjoy. And I do not know how long these things are going to stay, the way it is now. Nigerians, please, I have lived in Nigeria for many years before I came back to my father's country. It is better for you to get that country working in order so that it will not generate into something that you people will regret. Because most of us, we try to be patriotic. That is why we don't speak evil about our countries. And I have to tell you today, there is no point to hide it anymore. Do not sell your national asset the way Ghana has sold theirs. We don't have control over our oil. The oil, Ghana is an oil export country now, but we don't have even what they pay us is royalty. We don't even have a step, but let me just say a clear-cut percentage like Nigeria has. Please, it is not good. Control it, find out the reason why, and if you are going to allow them to sell it for effectiveness and proper management, Nigerians must be involved and let them not sell it to their cohorts, just like NEPA. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Vine. Thank you for being on the broadcast. Thank you to those on the comment section engaging. Samson Adegawa, thank you. It's good to have you on the broadcast. Michael Okere, Mommy Diaspora, thank you very much. Silvanus A, oh, good day to you, sir. Thank you for being on here. Thank you to each and every one of you. I say welcome if you're just joining us on our newspaper review. Please do also like this broadcast, share, and invite someone onto the broadcast. All right, Mr. Machiavelli, how are you doing? Good to have you on this broadcast.
Thank you, Miss Emma. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my fellow panelists, and good morning to all the concerned citizens. I can hear the newspaper review is getting hot, and you're also smiling with your beautiful smile. You are adding to calm the situation down. That is very beautiful. Well, thanks to Nigeria Watch for having people like you to always give the Nigerians the newspaper review. At least when they are hearing these bass blows, we have somebody that is cooling it down with their smile. I thank you so much for that. On the issue of Nigerian trying to sell their assets, well, we will learn. We are going to learn. Why are you selling your asset when you don't have a strong policy? Why? You see, a lot of us are, it is going to be good when we say we don't have a strong policy. Why are you going to sell the national asset? Just as Mr. Van Maswell said, exactly, that is a pure, straight answer. Because we should ask ourselves, where is the Nigerian Postal Authority? NIPOST. Where is NEPA? Where is NITEL, Nigeria Telecommunication? Or when zero. So we must have a strong policy. If you want to sell the asset, that is when Nigerians can see anything. Because if they sell it now, Atiku is just waiting. He's happy. Mona Selamo, because he has his friends, everybody that is going to give, they are going to buy it. They are going to be benefiting for it. Nigeria is not going to gain. Nigerians will not benefit. Why do you think somebody like me, I'm always saying I'm concerned? These are the more reasons. Because some Nigerians have their meters. They bought their meter and it's reading there. You will be paying for something you are not being given the service. Is there anything profit there? There's nothing. You cannot be selling assets. You don't have a strong policy that is going to weigh in there to have this thing have effect. Look at our flooding now. Look at. Now, I want to give you a clear example of how these people eat the money, NDDC. You remember they had a panel. Maybe some of you must have heard the panel they had when somebody fell, slump while they were asking questions. Did you hear about the panel anymore or the probe? That's gone another way. Hey, Nigeria, who do us like this? We should open our eyes. You see, before we do something, most of us are living in diaspora. You look at the economy. How is this thing going to have an effect in our country? How is the society going to benefit from this thing? This is the question you ask yourself. Because we are very happy now that a lot of Nigerians have been enlightened. Before you strike, they will have to say, Mokuna, wait to let us view it now. Before then, nobody cares about it because we thought they were just running. But these people were running they were running the country like oligarchs. That is what the Nigeria is still based on. It's based on oligarchy. Where the rich will just benefit, they study themselves, they put their money in their pocket. Why the citizen will remain poor? And they will never benefit from that. The dividends of democracy is what we call. So if you sell all of this thing and we are not getting an effect in the policy that will make these people anything you put in their hand so that it can be balanced and checked, it's not there. So you are just selling it. So hallelujah. They'll be doing happy birthday and you'll be celebrating your birthday with tears. And that is what they put Nigerians into. And I urge Nigerians, We should take note. You were asking of the money that was being used by what's it called? All these governors. They gave this. See, anytime we have anytime we have problem in the country, the money that is allocated, you don't find it. Let me give you another clear example. During the COVID pandemic, was there no something stored for the citizens? No, the thing is, you need to ask yourself, who are those people benefiting from it?
Makabele.
Yes.
Even they gave them COVID-19 packages, and the Nigerians themselves, the wealthy ones in Nigeria, they provided them with so many, I think, in hundreds of or billions of naira in support.
That's the thing.
As well.
Now you are not hearing that even the United States has given us aid now. Now, before you know it, that money, it will be a thing of the past again. Hey, see you later. You will not hear any. The thing is, it's just bordering. Like, we need to have a grip of what is going on. Because our country is a democratic system where before you do anything, there should be balance and check. There should be people telling you that, this money, how is this spent? Look at the United Kingdom. Some people who live in the United Kingdom, you know what is happening. During the COVID-19, when people were keeping, some people, the Prime Minister said, sit down at home, they were busy doing bunga bunga. He was held responsible. They made sure he resigned. Look at the other one now. He resigned yesterday, and they don't even know where they are going. That is to tell you, and you see the people saying, no, we must. It is the people that our Nigerian owners will just sit down and look. No, we can't leave it like that. This is the time the government should be answerable to the citizens. You must tell them before you do anything, and the citizens must wake up. And I thank you guys so much, and all the panelists that are here, that are very enlightened. I so much thank you. Please, I'll beg you one thing. Let us try and also continue this education, because otherwise the citizens will not understand what is actually going on in the system. And I'm seriously, I'm not saying because I'm talking now. I am begging you guys. You see, Mr. Vine Master, he lives in Ghana. This is our fellow neighbor who is telling us what to do. Seriously, we all need each other now. We all need each other because they like the layman's language, our mumu don't too much. He don't too much. We cannot continue like this. You can't tell us you want to set the asset. Oh God, where is the policy you are putting in place so that we will know if this thing is being sold? We will know how we are going to get, how we're going to be generating the money. Then you are just telling us, we'll sell it and we do this so that you can always help us. ASU strike now. We just lay that one on the side now. Oh yeah, ASU go back. Where did they tell us what they discussed with ASU? What was the implementation? How is it going to work for the long-term future? Nobody is asking. This is the reason I wanted ASU to drag it. Yeah.
Let's take this question by Johnson Emmanuel. He says that now that these assets are in control of the government, what are the people benefiting from it? I'm sure he's also trying to say that how will it be of no good to the people if these things are being sold? What's going to be the difference now and when these things are sold?
Because the thing is that what he's saying, it can be correct. But one thing is that if you don't have a strong policy that actually did, so that whenever anybody is stealing money, there's something in there that will always act as a check and balance. If it is not there, it doesn't have an effect. So whether it's owned by this or it's owned by that, there should be something in the middle that stops anyone from using it the way they like. I don't know if he understands it. Like what ASU has done now, we've been dragging this whole matter. Jamila just came in and said, okay, I've settled everything. Oga, you are not the person settling everything. We need to have a special body that is there, that is checkmating this thing. What are you talking? This is what we are saying. If it's owned by the government, there must be a special panel that will say, okay, yes, we are watching these people, how this money is being spent, what is it spent for? It's not that you want to sell the asset, and we just sell the asset like that. But it's no policy that will make it robust so that the anything that is coming out, the profit that is coming out of it should be used the way it's been planned. But we don't know. See the money that came from the United States now. Where is it going? How is it going to be shared? Who is it going to get it from? Who are those? These are the things we need to ask our government. But it's not there. So you're just going to sell it. Look, Night Post now. Where is Night Post? Nobody. Everybody that are living in the countries abroad, they still use their postal services. They still use their telephone, even if they have their mobile phone. But Nigeria, zero. Night Post. Have you ever received letter in your house, Mrs. Sima? Do you even remember if there's even called a company called Nigeria Postal Services? No. Exactly. This is the thing. So why are we, is there anything that we are benefiting? If you want to send something, you go to DHL, you go to UPS. And this is our main. See, we need to understand that we need to get back the control of our resources. We need to get back control and put the government so that they work and we see what they are doing. If this have an effect on the people, it's not having an effect on us. That is just the plain simple truth. Selling this asset without no policy is a zero and is going to be a nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Machiavelli. Thank you to each and every one of you on the comment section. Jack Chooks, I see you, Mr. Chooks. Thank you for being here. Mr. Michael, well done, Mr. Sampson, Mr. Johnson. Thank you. I see each and every one of you. To my panelists, thank you for today. To those watching, I hope you have taken out time to like the broadcast. Please do so. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so something happened yesterday in Lagos. Two women, they had a fight. One in anger took the neighbor's child and threw the neighbor's child in the well. Yes, in an active well, and of course the child drowned and died, sadly so. And the other child of the one who saw his mother take another person's child, went to that other woman to report and say, see what my mother has done. And that one in anger took the child and came to report to her and went to throw that one in the well as well. So these two women, in a fit of anger, killed their children. Oh, so these are the stories that we have coming out from Nigeria, and it is well, one of those things, I guess, one of those things. So I'll be catching reactions, but that would also be your final submission on the broadcast. So just give me a minute to say hello to everyone on the comment section that has been with us today. Thank you to each and every one of you. Mr. Tsudainja, how are you? It's good to have you on the broadcast. Osagofo, thank you very much for being here. Mommy of all mommies, thank you for your love always. We love you right back. Thank you for being here today. Thank you also to Johnson Emmanuel. Thank you, Bella Naomi. You've been very quiet on the broadcast, Bella. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so very much. Thank you to Michael Okere. Thank you to each and every one of you. Ehosa Francis, thank you for being here. Oh, Dr. Gomez is also in the house. Thank you for your donation there, Dr. Gomez. Thank you so very much. Samson Adegawa, thank you also. Thank you so very much. Thank you to each and every one of you. Mr. Silvanus, thank you very much for your time on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anthony Obiora, thank you very much. Greetings to you too. Yes, Dr. Gomez, mental cases all over in Nigeria. All over, all over. All right, Mr. Chooks, let's catch your submission so that would also be your final submission.
Yeah, thank you once again. It's so painful, this last article you read. It's so sad. This is as a result of mental illness. Because I'm not sure a woman who had a child for 9 months in her belly before delivering, and we know how costly it is, and all these things, and you just get up to kill your child, because I'm not even saying it that another person killed their child, because what kind of anger that will make you, especially the second incident, a child come to say, this is what happened. That child is not happy that a child like he or her, that kind of treatment was done to that child, and that child sees the injustice there, despite the fact his or her mother that did that came to the mother of that one to say, hey, look, this is what just happened. this is the case of mental illness, and this is what we're talking about. Nobody cares about that. And when you complain, some people will be here telling you that it's good to sell this, it's good to do that. At the end of the day, this money are not coming to the relevant people. This asset we're talking about, they sell it to tell us they're repairing Aso Rock for billions. They're buying bullet cars. Bullet car tires. This is the kind of things somebody is telling me is a budget deficit. How can that be budget deficit? Look at the real issue that we should be discussing. This is as a result of the madness the government has put in on people. Everybody is I don't know how to say it. Mentally we are not strong anymore. We are not strong anymore. And until the government need to look into this, everywhere is problem. This is, this last story you read, it breaks my heart. Look how we just lost two great people. These people could have been the next governor, could have been the next engineer, could have been anything to help this country. This is how we lose them. And we keep losing them every single day. I'm so sad this morning. I'm so sad to hear this. What is the sin of these kids? Or even their family, the women that are doing this. And some of them are busy campaigning to bring the same sorrow on themselves. This is unbelievable. And I hope all these market women and all these people, singing the praises of APC and their cohorts, will listen to this and know that the future of those kids you have, the future of your family is not guaranteed. It's not safe at all. Please, let all mothers think. Let us think. I know the government has made us mentally imbalanced, but let's use the remaining power in us to reject these people, because we can't continue to lose the best brain. Because I call them the best brain, because you never know what they're going to be tomorrow. You and I today, while we're growing up, we don't know where we could attain this height we are today. So please, I'm begging all mothers, please, let us restrain ourselves to do the right thing for the future of our kids. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. Mr. Kennedy, it's good to have you on this broadcast. Mr. Kennedy says throwing their children into the wall is a case of mental imbalance and financial stress. Poverty causes anxiety, anger, and deprivation. And I very much agree with your statement. Excuse me, Mr. Chubuzo, please.
Yeah. You see, this is rage. I don't know what caused the problem in the first place, but I don't see at the same time the reason why the first woman should use that child as a anger cool down. The sad one was the last one, an innocent child who doesn't like injustice, but it was unfortunate that the same injustice caught up on him. If I were to comment, those two women are supposed to face capital punishment, and there's no remorse or regret for that, because they don't deserve to live. Both of them don't deserve to live. That's all I can say. Thank you.
All right. As Samson Adegawa says, availability of food in our society will reduce our mental imbalance. People are hungry. I think we are beginning to get real with these conversations. These are truly things that are worthy of note, and these are things that are relatable to the common man. The first was from Mr. Kennedy saying that throwing their children into the wall is a case of mental imbalance and financial stress. Day-to-day living in Nigeria for an ordinary man has become very, 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 very difficult. You get to live You get to leave your house as early as, say you're leaving like 5, depends on where you are working. Now you get to leave that early. The whole stress, you come back and you do that for a month, it's mentally draining. And sometimes people are doing this for 50,000, 60,000. I mean, if you are even doing this for 100,000, you are still in that category. And at the end of the month, by the time you do 1 or 2 bills, everything is gone, and you're just like, so what? So now you're just living. It's like you're paying for the life you are living daily for the common man, and that is telling in relationships. I think this case here, this is a very terrible case. I can't even imagine the scene. I mean, in one well, 2 children. Come on. Then the effect of all of that happening for that little child to go report and go report to the mother, the other mother, to let her know that this is what my mother has done, and you would still carry that same child. What? So it's more of transferred aggression. Now, where this aggression is coming from is not even coming from one source. That is to say, if you're out there on the street of Nigeria, be careful how you deal with people. People are going through a lot. If you can try and make every transaction be peaceful, please do so and go your way. Even when you see trouble brewing, try and excuse yourself. Really, people are going through a lot, so try to avoid violence with anybody. And why be more trouble to them? If you can be peace to someone, please try and be peace to them. All right. um Okay, Mr. Kennedy says always, always says they need psychiatric evaluation before persecution. What about the government that is creating these financial problems on the entire citizenry? Entire. Oh dear. All right, thank you so very much for joining us on our newspaper review today, each and every one of you. We've had quite a section here, and of course, this broadcast will not end without my panelist saying something. Mr. Chooks, would you like to say something? Okay, let's move on. Mr. Chibuzo, are you here? Would you like to say something? Mr. Vine?
Yes, please, Systema. You see, the Nigerian populace are reacting on what the leaders, the criminal political leaders, are doing to them or forcing them to do. And it is going to get worse if something drastic is not, done. I have never seen this kind of thing happen in Nigeria before. And this thing started, when you just go and look at the trend of most of these things happening today in Nigeria, you will see that 25 years ago, it wasn't like this. It keeps increasing because the people are reacting for the misrule that is going on. Did you see what happened at Alaba International Market? For individuals to multiple tax people, as you are paying this one, they are bringing another one. You pay this one, they bring another one. You carry your goods on the head, they collect tax from you. That is mental imbalance there. People do no longer reason. If I do this thing to this man, how will he feel? That empathy is no longer there. It's only what I can get and the way I can get it. In fact, it results to violence. That is the system that the political elites has created for an ordinary Nigerian. And they will never stop because they are building their own, words to come and take over and continue with what they have started. So I just hope that Nigerians will come out of it and stand tall against all this misrule and begin to take, responsibility of their own, destiny in that country. Otherwise, it's going to get worse. And I pray that Nigerians will live in peace, within their neighbors. Because, my sister, it is not easy. It is not easy. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, Mr. Vine, thank you for your submission. Mr. Chooks.
Yeah, you say depression is everywhere, and what causes depression, most of them is worries. Imagine a woman waking up and not knowing where the next meal will come for her children. That is depressive enough, for that person not to think right. I had Mr. I forgot his name, who said that they should be prosecuted. Yeah, you said it as it is, but even if it happened in Western world, they will first of all, go on the record of these individuals, see who they are. If there is a history of depression, mental, imbalance and all that, before they are prosecuted. Not that they're not going to be prosecuted, but to determine the amount of punishment they will receive. This is like I think Van Maxwell or who said, if you are relating to, okay, it is you, Ima, that said that if you are dealing with people, make sure you calm down, even when the person is aggressive. Please, Nigerians, nobody is happy. We are all in this shit. Nobody is completely happy. So I might not know the state of mind you are in while I interact with you, so if there's any little thing to bring that devil in you out, definitely, if I can, I will try to avoid it, because once that devil is out, the rest is regret, and the damage must have been done. So please, let us, we know it is not easy for us. We know everything. It's not easy. Like people in UK today, they are afraid of this winter coming. It's eating deep on us. That is why when the government did what we don't want, everybody is singing, go, go, until she finally, left. This is the kind of things Nigerians should be focusing on, making sure they get things right, making sure that those we sent to do work for us, that they did that work diligently. I had you saying that the government, they've given money to state. Yes, they've given money to state, but when there is national emergency, you don't go prosecuting people. You don't go talking about how much people. It is still your responsibility to rescue these people, because these people have done nothing to deserve the kind of treatment they have today. So I just want to use this opportunity to say it. No matter what the federal government is saying, it is still their duty to make sure that these people are in. I mean, when Buhari took the oath of office, his primary responsibility is to make sure that Nigerians are well protected, and all their needs are met. So if this kind of I mean, it's not even a human cause catastrophe, it is natural catastrophe. So the government ought to come in. Even here I am living today, we do have floods. Okay, it's not that they don't have a ecological sector of their department, but when the natural disaster comes, no matter how protective you are, you can only minimize it. And when
Brother
that happens,
Brother Chooks, do you remember that they warned them before this time? Do you know that this thing has been happening before? Shagari started building in 1981. Shagari started building that dam, that Dasin Hausa dam. This same man came and stopped it. Successive governments refused to build it. And the impact has been hitting Nigeria, but not to this extent. Today, look at what is happening. Corpses are being exhumed by the flood. Do you want to tell me that that is the irresponsibility of the Nigerian government? They refuse to do what they're supposed to do. Now they are blaming everybody. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, even I had when Buhari said it's as a result of people building houses wherever they like. whose responsibility is it is still the government responsibility, because you cannot say I give state money and nobody is checkmating them. That cannot happen. So what I'm trying to say here before I hear the floor is, let us treat each other well. Let's forget the way the government is treating us. Let us bear in mind that not the way I can handle things, that the other person can handle it. And let us, help them, because by you handling it in a different way, that person will learn and continue to, do it the right way. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Chooks. Mr. Machiavelli, just before you go, I want to say thank you to Dr. Gomez. Thank you very, very much. Dr. Gomez's comments reads, as a mental health expert, there is no justification for this act. Both women need to be committed into an institution forever. My heart breaks. Well, it's actually a very sad story, and oh dear. Okay, Mr. Machiavelli.
And thank you very much, Ms. Ima, for having me once again. For that issue, I support Mr. Alexander Gomez because this is my area of specialization as well. They should be sectioned because a lot of things actually constituted to all this mental health. We don't have check. There's nothing working for us because most of this thing that is going on now, it is actually done caused by the government, because this effect of this hardship in the economy and the whole thing not being put appropriately contributed to a lot of this thing. But my heart fails for these women, but this is just how it works. Like, the law must take its place. Like what my brothers were also saying, I totally agree. A lot of things that the government neglected. I'll use my state as an example. Each time I go home, I always tell my neighbors, there's a problem coming. They don't see it. In each house you go in a Edo state, in one street, you are going to see nothing close to about 200 borehole in one street. 200. Now, you're going to think about the effect that this thing is going to cause to the environment. Now, when you hear people, Buhari is saying people are building land where they are not supposed to build land, building houses where they are not supposed to build. That's fine, because the policies, the effect is not there for you as a government to actually make this thing work. And the people should know where they are supposed to be, their boundaries on what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. The effect of this borehole, you are shaking the soil, and there is no government institution that is actually checkmating this thing to make sure that this thing is being serviced and so that it doesn't have effect. No one is doing it. Now, this is why some of these governments, when they start hitting on the people and say this thing is not supposed to be, you see them tagging these people as a betrayer. You see, the nonsense stops when the government have an effective policies. Example is my state. I use my state as an example. They are all calling, oh, betrayer, this one, that. When you bring a policy, they will see you as a traitor. But they don't actually know that this thing has an effect. If you tell them don't build a house in a swampy area, that is when they are going to go and build a house. Sometimes you see people building house under the power line. Do you know how dangerous it is? And when the government start destroying these houses, they start calling them as a traitor. Everybody start carrying placards. I told you there are sometimes, because our government fails to implement policies that are actually effective so that the people would adhere to it. But then when they have failed in their own, then they put the people inside. Everybody is now in jeopardy. We are now circling around it like that of the Bermuda Triangle. So this is the problem. It's costing us more now. People who have mental health issues with all these things that are going on. This is where we find ourselves. But we must start talking to ourselves and educating them so that people will be aware of what is going on and what they should do, and hold the government responsible, and how and what we need to put in place to have effective a system or economy that's going to be better for us and heal our generation. Otherwise, if we leave it, this generation leave it, it's going to decay. That is just the end of the story. Thank you very much for having me.
Emma, can I come in here 1 second, please?
Okay.
Yeah, Emma, you remember last week we talked about this when the issue of Edo State government, reclaiming the lands. People are are building upon. I made it clear that day that we as citizens, we're supposed to take responsibilities of our action. We need to do things in the right way so that at least our life will be spared. Because I believe it is the cause of this dam, but so many factors made this worse. This is my own opinion, because if we can avoid those factors, it will not be as huge as we are seeing it today, because we as citizens, we have a responsibilities as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just for you, how you doing? Welcome back to the studio.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. So I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
You look gorgeous this morning. My regards to as many people that are even on this platform and other platform trying to see the welfare of Nigerians. So actually, I am in my office right now doing my job, but I just still have to, squeeze out this time to talk. So whatever the noise you are hearing from the background, please don't bother too much. So I think the topic of the discussion is about the flooding. So if that is the topic, I just want to comment on it a little bit. You see, the problem with us is that we are still talking about the bad government. It is the bad government. We know that Nigerian is blessed. That continent is blessed. Because if you compare it with America now, I want to use it to compare America, for example. America is not only suffering from flooding. You look at sometimes they say eggs, all these eggs, all this snow, all of them. They are driving people out of their habitation. So we are really blessed. It's just because the mismanagement is there. If you don't construct, you construct road. Look at Lagos Ibadan way. How long it took them to construct that road, and I'm sure that road is not well constructed. Every government that came in always give out for construct as a contract because they have their own court. So if you construct road, you construct drainage, you construct you have a protection for all this road and all these things wouldn't happen in that Nigeria, because we are blessed. We are blessed. So definitely the problem is we don't have good government. Definitely, if we have good government, all these things wouldn't happen. And if it does, it is the responsibility of the government to relocate this place, trying to build a place for them. That is what is done abroad. That is what is done everywhere. Natural disaster can happen anywhere. So it is not something that one will blame another thing. We cannot blame each other, but it is the responsibility of the government to protect the people. Once it happens, you provide for them. But the government will always give an excuse for his failure or for her failure. Let me use that word. They will always give what they call it excuses, and this is why we are talking about Obi, because if you do the needful, as this thing happen like that, there will be a rescue. There's what they call emergency rescue. So we don't have all that. Even when people are dying, you don't have before you call ambulance, before the ambulance will come, the person is gone already. These are the things that people are enjoying in abroad. But Nigerians government, they don't care about the people. For the president to make that comment, I don't think he knows that the primary responsibility of a government is to secure the property and the life and the property of the citizens. Then the second one is to provide for them, like hospital, electricity, pipe-borne waters, and all of that. We all know that. The government will not do that. All we are hearing, carrying millions and billions and snakes swallowing billions and millions, constructing road in other country where your country is nowhere to write home about. It's a sad story. Let me say one thing. Sometimes, if I look at myself, I look at these people, I will not blame God for creating us, you and I, for creating us to be called a Nigerian just like them. Sometimes I wonder, I say, why would I be called a Nigerian with this kind of people? Because when you believe in the truth, no matter what happens, you stand for the truth. And you will always, even if it's your father that is doing wrong thing, prove to your father that this thing you are doing is wrong. All these people, where are their family? Where are their children? This is the thing that we discuss about it. If there's any punishment that have to give with these people, it have to be extended to their people, to their family. Because when they are doing these things, you see the children, they having billions. Are you to tell me that Buhari children are not billionaires in dollars? They are billionaires when the children are suffering. They don't know. They don't make any comment. Look at Babangida. Babangida, for all what he has done, look at him. Abacha children, the other day, they came out, the wife came out and was making nonsense. I was almost crying. So you just think that Nigeria will just forget all what you have done, all what your family, your husband have done. The embezzlement, when we are still recovering the Abacha loot. So these are the things. Nigerians, you wake up and attack and know the responsibility of the government. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Just for you, thank you for being on this broadcast. Mr. Anisubide, it's good to have you here. Please, 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you so much, Sister Ima, and everyone on the panel, everyone listening. Thank you for having me. I hope you're doing well. Yeah.
Yes, sir, it's a fine day.
All right, that's good. Well, so I think let me just quickly try to summarize. Like I had my brother, is it Machiavelli? I'm not sure. As I said, was talking about these boreholes and all this, environmental degradation. But at the same time, it's good for us to understand that most of this thing, we cannot put it on the people, especially when it has to do with drainage, sewage, water, and all that. That's government responsibility. That's the sole responsibility of a government. It doesn't matter how much you build your house. It doesn't matter how well you build your house. Where will you go and construct another person's house, or maybe will you go and build the whole street? So the thing is that this is government. I've had the privilege of being to a few African countries. I'm not talking about Europe now or America or Asia. African countries. Let me use, for example, Kenya. I like using Kenya because I know them more. I know Kenya more. You see, Nairobi. Do you know that the sewers, they all go to a particular place? Is Kenya America? Is Kenya a third world, a first world country? They all go to a particular place. They have like about 2 or 3 sewer plants that the whole city sewer is going to. The whole city has a water system. So that's why you now understand. And Kenya does not have oil like Nigeria. So that's where you know how much our leadership has failed over the years, totally. And when you see some people coming here trying to say, or whether anywhere, trying to say something like people are they are trying, or this one did what? Somebody open mouth and say somebody built Lagos, as if Lagos have a functioning drainage system or sewer system like the example I just gave. Is there power? Is the all the sewage is linked and directed somewhere where it's being treated? Like that's what they do in Nairobi. So it's just quite unfortunate that where our people have been so beaten down to the point whereby people don't even understand what the standard of leadership is anymore. And you find like look at what happened the other day in Alaba. Where in the world will something like that be condoned by the government? It's even something that will escalate that even the federal government is supposed to step in. Is that not even like impunity? Okay, those taxes those people are taking, where are they taking it to? Okay, what tax is it exactly? What is the name of the tax or tax? The one that tax bureaus are taking. Where is it? So that's the kind of country we are living in. Shop traders are already paying for permits. They are paying for different things. They are paying all those inland revenue taxes and everything. Then you still have Agbero that will come and wait for you while you're offloading your goods to take money again. Can't you see that it's insane? So it's just quite unfortunate. And somebody will say somebody built Lagos. I don't even understand our this is the slave. I don't know. It's the defeatist mentality, conquered mentality. These people have used poverty to almost turn the brain of some of our people upside down. They can't even see more than that. And unfortunately, they'll still use tribalism and some other useless sentiments to hold these people down. You
Nsubidi,
understand?
that is part of mental imbalance now, like we discussed the other day.
Yeah. This is severe mental imbalance. I'm giving you examples of an African country. Do you know that? Do you know right now? I don't even know. Well, let me not go there, but it's just quite unfortunate that then you find some of these persons of these other candidates will come out and say that why is someone like Obi um, calling an emergency for the flood and suspending campaign, and people are not even telling that, just raining in other countries or whatever. People will just go and they will cancel that person that said that. That person can never appear on any public platform. For you to be asking why is somebody calling for national emergency on flood? Well, I don't blame them. Unfortunately, like I told you about the mainstream media, though, if they can be interviewing these people that are saying all this rubbish, even when Festus Keyamo said all those rubbish he said, that is clearly inciting and divisive and hateful words, they are still giving him audience, interviewing what's his name, Reno Mokri, with all the garbage that comes out of his mouth on a weekly basis. So
All right.
what do you think that people will do if the media are giving these people platforms? They are not, so it's just quite unfortunate that we are in this kind of situation. But what I want to say is that issue of flood, let me just close by saying this issue of flood and all this poor drainage system and everything, that is solely the responsibility of the government to ensure to create waterways. And even if you say somebody build the house on it, are they building? Did they go and break the waterway and build the house? If you collapse the house, it will not stop anything, or water will still pass through under. So there's no basic planning from the leadership. That's just the simple truth, and it's just quite unfortunate.
All right,
Thank you.
Mr. NGD, thank you. Thank you for coming into the studio. Thank you so very much. Excuse me. Thank you to my amazing panelists. Thank you to each and every one of you for taking our time to join us, to join the conversation today. Thank you very much. And to those watching, thank you. And of course, to Dr. Gomez. I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But Dr. Gomez, thank you. Thank you for your donations today. God bless you so very much, sir. Thank you. And to each and every one of you that's taking out time to join us and like the broadcast, thank you so very much. God bless you. To Yes. Okay. To each and every one of you, thank you. Please join us on our other lineups of programs. We have the discussions Monday through to Thursday, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. We have the debate every Friday by 6 p.m. And of course, newspaper review Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. And the chat. And as for the chat, I might just look for a means for each and every one of you to send me a file. You have something like the other day, Mr. Kennedy brought something to my attention. Aside from saying this is, I need materials to work with. So if you have anything you'd like to share for us to discuss on the chat, please reach out to me. I'll be dropping reach out on our WhatsApp number. Please reach out. Thank you very much. And as of Monday, we have quite some topics to take on the chat on Monday. So Monday we'll get more information, or by tomorrow we'll get more information. But for today, thank you so very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, please stay safe. Please be very mindful how you relate to people. Just be very careful how you relate to people. People are going through a lot. Please, if you can keep to yourself as much as you can, and let's be careful with our jokes. Yes, please, let's be careful with the kind of jokes we throw around. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Until I come your way again, please stay safe. Bye for now.